Because no matter what, you're not going to please everybody any fucking way. People are ungrateful. So fuck it. Nope. If
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, if even if I did and still don't feel you or the person or whatever, no, fuck it. It is what it is.
I got zero friends. I got zero friends.
You just entered the girls' locker room and you already know it's your girl Talita Mokia hanging in the girls' locker room with my booze. Introduce yourself, ladies.
Hi, it's Emma.
Hey, it's CJ.
And today we're talking about boundaries and why they are important. So, of course, I'm the one who picked this topic. I'm all about boundaries everywhere in life. Like I'm like the stop sign in life.
That's not a bad thing.
And I'm like the stop sign. Everything is no. Like once I got over like having to people please and I learned the power of that word no. Like I realized no is an answer and an explanation all in one. People be like, oh, can you? No. Oh, are you? No. Don't invite me. I'm not coming. No. Shit like that. Like it sucks because um how I had to learn to put boundaries in place or the reason why I had to learn to put boundaries in place. But ever since I started putting them in place, it feels so good. It feels like I go to sleep. I be sleep. Cause I ain't concerned about what nobody else got going on. Ain't none of my business. Ain't none of my business.
Much. I feel you. It takes trials and tribulations, bumps and bruises to say, you know something? Because no matter what, you're not going to please everybody any fucking way. People are ungrateful. So fuck it. Nope. If
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, if even if I did and still don't feel you or the person or whatever, no, fuck it. It is what it is. I mean, everybody can be cordial, but it does feel good to say. I can concur.
Yeah. And like, because you're not gonna please everybody, you might as well please yourself. And if you really just don't want to
Exactly.
do it, you might as well just like be like, no.
Because
I
you're usually the one that's not being pleased.
right,
But you're
right.
not
You pleasing
saying no.
everybody else.
But once you decide to start saying no, you're like, hey, this feels like you said,
Mhm.
that's it.
Yeah. And once you start putting them in place, like people learn to expect it from you. So it's not a shock. Like in the beginning, it's gonna be a shock. Like everybody's gonna be like, oh my goodness, why? I remember when we lived in South Carolina, my husband had a lot of family that lived not too far from where we live, like maybe 30 minutes, which is not really that bad in South Carolina. And they would say stuff like, oh, we're going like basically going to the mall in the city we live in. And you'll hear like one of the older ones say, oh, we should stop by and see them. And then the young ones would be like, no, they're not gonna open the door. Did you speak to them? No, they're not gonna open the door. And that became expected for us, like, or people ride by our house and be like, oh, we seen a car in the driveway, but you didn't answer your phone, so we didn't stop. So it became expected, like, no, don't show up here, don't show up here unannounced, because I'm not letting you in. Like, no. I had to learn boundaries first with my home because I started your home should be your sanctuary, it should be your peace. It should be where you can go and relax. But people come in, they bring their energies in there, it weird energy in your house. Like you wonder why you can't sleep, your kids up in the middle of the night, wandering, crying, all kinds of craziness. Like, no, I don't want to have to sage my house every time we have guests. So now when you come over, you stay on a step or just call and I'll say no, you know? Like it's hard sometimes because it gets lonely having those boundaries in place. But then I look at like all the mess I've been through in my life trying to be like, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be there for you. Like certain people know, like, regardless to what I'm gonna show up. Like CJ and my brother, they know. Like if they call us, we be there. Bro, we need you to swing by the house real quick. Certain people, it's always gonna be a yes because it's always a yes with them. But other people, no, don't do that. Don't knock on my door. Don't. Mm-mm. I don't care if you see my car. I don't care if you see both of the cars. Keep go ahead. Keep going. Keep moving. Don't call
And
me, don't text me, because I'm gonna send you the voicemail. I screen my phone calls. There's very few people I answer for on the first ring. I'm gonna screen my calls. You're gonna have to leave a voicemail. I'm gonna have to check that thing and see how I feel about it. Like, do I feel like calling it? Is it important for me to call you back? It's not. I'm gonna send you a text.
I mean, I prefer the text method first anyway, but whatever.
And
Uh,
please don't ever just FaceTime me off the jump. Please don't do that.
oh no, yeah, no.
I'm
We
not
have
gonna
to,
answer that.
as usually we call first and then, oh, I'm a FaceTime you and then we FaceTime after.
But yeah, like, and boundaries, having them is important. Understanding what you're gonna go through when you set them up is important too. Like, people don't understand, like, when you have strong and strict boundaries, it's very, very, very lonely. And you have to be okay with being by yourself, because always
Transition.
saying no, people are gonna stop inviting you. People are gonna stop calling because you're not gonna answer. They're gonna stop trying to stop by your house, and you have to be okay with that. Um, that's the most important thing. Like, I was talking to my husband about it the other day, and I was like, everybody wants to talk about nowadays, everybody's like, oh my God, my boundaries is strong, my boundaries is this, my boundaries is that. But nobody discussed the grief that comes with boundaries. Like, you mourn relationships, you mourn people who are still alive, because you're just at the point where you're like, you know what, they're toxic for me, so I can't deal with them. And now you find yourself in a little bit of depression, and you're trying to figure out why. And you're like, I said these boundaries are supposed to be all right, but it's really not. It will be, but you got to get to the point where you like, I get,
It's a transition. You
yeah.
have to get used to it, because of course the trials and tribulations led you to those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to transition into having them and learning to appreciate and enjoy them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Example of boundaries right there. Just walked out here and walked into the call, told him right before what I was doing. Like, I'm building boundaries at this very moment. Because I guess I'm in the process of building those boundaries right now, because I used to definitely, I'm a people pleaser. I gotta make sure everybody likes me and stuff like that. And now I'm trying to set those boundaries. But when I tell people no, they get whiny. Like, well, why? Well, but why? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? And getting through that pushback that I'm receiving when I try to establish those boundaries is because I mean, they'll just keep going and just keep fucking going at you until they get what they want. And
In those moments, you have to understand that no is an answer and an explanation. Like, why? No.
how do we
Why?
get them to
I said no. Why? No.
I'm gonna have to hit them that's where I'm gonna slap them across the face. No,
It's like pleading the fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. It's the same thing. Like, it's no. Like, I used to be like, no, and people be like, why? And I'd be like, because I would come up with an excuse. Oh, because one of the kids is sick, or oh, one of the kids got this going on. Oh, I gotta do this, and oh, I gotta do that. Now it's just like, why? I'm like, no, because I said no. That's it.
You got to do what you have to do for you.
Yeah.
When one of the things, like I said, that I learned is, well, I have to understand people are going to care as much as they're going to care.
Mhm.
And no matter what you do, and no matter how you do it, they are going to give you what they want to give you. So you have to, what they call it, match energies. And setting up those boundaries can possibly pose as a problem, but something, fuck it, because you can only give so much, because you wind up, and either way, boundaries, you giving your all, you're still going to feel sad, but you ultimately have to want to know, do you want to feel sad and build on yourself, or keep allowing yourself to be tore down and feel sad? It's the boundaries are good. They're good.
Boundaries are very good, and you know, setting them up, it does bring on a little bit of anxiety. It could bring on a little bit of depression. It's loneliness. All of that comes into place, but you have to know, like, is dealing with this person healthy for me? Like, y'all both know I barely deal with any of my family. And that was one of the most loneliest things I had to do. Like when I moved from South Carolina, yeah, communication became light and in between. But my mom was a little bit of the buffer, so I kind of knew what was going on with people and, like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But it got to a point, like, after my mom passed, that it was just too much. Like, I had people calling me talking about, like, oh, I'm sad because I can't spend Thanksgiving with your mother. And I'm like, I don't need to deal with that 3 days before Thanksgiving with your emotions. And I'm trying to deal with my own emotions. And then they didn't understand when I would be like, I used to do stuff like, oh, let me call you back. That used to be my favorite get out. Oh, I'm gonna call you right back. Or, oh, hold on, the kids just walked in. Let me call you right back. So it now, like, it got to a point where they would call and I would not answer. And they would text me and be like, oh, why are you not answering me? And I'm like, because I don't want to talk to you. Or they'd be like, answer your phone. No.
Well, maybe they felt you guys can comfort each other during that time, but not understanding that's not what you're into or whatever. You want it to be in your own space.
No, it was about them not having boundaries. You have to set up your boundaries so that, because everybody is not going to have the same boundaries. And you also have to set up your expectations of people. One thing I learned to watch people and watch their movements and believe them when they show me. I'm not going to make an excuse for your behavior. I'm not going to excuse your behavior. I'm going to call you on your behavior. And if you don't like it, then I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Like, you can't fix nobody. People have to fix themselves. So if I'm not calling you on your behavior and setting consequences for your behavior, that's like me telling the kids, don't touch the stove. The stove is not on. Don't touch the stove. You could get burned. Don't touch the stove. You can get burned. Don't touch the stove. You can get burned. And then one day the stove is on and they touch the stove. What happened? They got burned. So now guess what they've learned? Not to touch the stove. It's like Finding Nemo. Don't touch the butt. He touched the butt and he got taken off. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you have to set those expectations. Like, okay, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. Like, don't call me with the crap. I don't want to deal with it. And then you call me with the crap. And then I hit you with the, let me call you right back. And you call me back with the crap. And then I don't answer. And then you text me and say, answer your phone. And I'm like, no. Why? No. Because I've already explained to you why. Like, oh, you got to give people an explanation, or you just can't cut people off cold turkey. Yes, I can. Because I gave you forewarning. Like, don't do this because I don't like this. This doesn't make me feel good. This doesn't make me feel comfortable. It puts me in an awkward position. And it taught me, like, I deal with people in what I expect from them. I learned to not expect from people what I would give, because doing that was setting myself up for failure every single time. Like,
setting the bar too high.
Huh?
Setting the bar too high.
And their legs are short. They can't jump and reach it.
And climb.
Or if they too tall, you set the bar too low, and now they can't bend under it and get underneath it. Like, it's about dealing with people in the capacity in which you know that they can deal. Like, I
can get that.
I don't be bothered with stuff that doesn't matter to me. Like, me and Emily was having a conversation. I'm having with me and somebody at our old job, right? And I just was simple, like, I don't care to get it rectified. We're not friends. Simple.
I mean,
you were my friend. Now we're gonna have a conversation about it, and we're gonna set up expectations, and we're gonna set up boundaries. But we're not friends, so I don't care how you feel.
Yeah,
it might sound bad.
Oh, not at all. Like, just cutting it off, like, like, no, it's good. Like, because I mean, you cut it clean. It's not like you're dragging this shit out for like days, like pretending, like, getting their hopes up. Clean, swift break.
That's it. I'm like, chop it up, done.
I mean, you gotta appreciate that, because it's just like, these are my expectations. Like, I'm giving my information to you. Like, I'm being upfront. Like, I'm telling you as we go. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like,
I think I don't expect much from people. So to be honest, I mean, and again, I guess it's because I've learned, my lesson, but I don't expect shit, to be honest. I really don't. It's what it is. If I feel that you and I have a bond, um, then I fucks with you. But in all actuality, I don't expect anything. I'm not looking for anything. It's gonna be what it is. I know what makes me happy. If I'm at home and I have a book and I have my TV or whatever, and I know my kids is safe, my family is safe, my dogs, I'm good. I'm not expecting anything, because when you expect shit, what happens? You tend to get disappointed. And why get disappointed at that when there's a lot of other shit that's going on that energy could be focused on? That the expecting shit, I'm good. It's what it is. I move. I move. I see you move, I move, and it's gonna be what it is. As long as it's mutually respected and understood why, then it's all good.
But that's where the problems come in, because it's not always respected. It's not always respected.
And then that's when you put up those boundaries. Okay, well, look.
That's how I come with it. Like, bow. Like, people don't even understand.
But
Like,
exactly, that's what I'm saying. So
I have hundreds of contacts in my phone. I can tell you, I probably speak to the same six people all the time. Like, that's it. Honestly, I speak to CJ, like CJ, and she's married to my brother. I speak to her more than I speak to him. That's how I gauge that he's safe. He good. I know he's safe. Now he'll hit my husband up and have a conversation with my husband, but it doesn't bother me that. And that's the thing too with boundaries. Like, people think, oh, you don't talk to me no more. Oh, you set these boundaries up and we don't talk and chat and hang out, that you got an attitude with me or you got a problem with me. It's not an attitude. It's not a problem. It's all love over here. I just can't be bothered with you, love. You gotta be loved from over there. It's no love lost. Like, I hope and pray all the good to you, even if you did do me wrong. However, I just can't mess with you because my mental capacity is not there. Y'all all know I'm less than freaking 5. I'm 5'3" and 5'2 3/4. So when it get up here, it gonna blow up, and y'all know I lose my shit. So to avoid that, and then like I do that, I lose it. I'm ready to go crazy. I'm at my old self again, and now I'm upset with myself. I'm angry with me. I feel let down by me because I let somebody else take me out of that element in which I worked so hard to get to. So I just don't. I see something, I'm not finna question it. I'm not finna question it. I'm not. You act funny. Called you on acting funny. You act funny again in the same exact manner. No. It's like being a crackhead. No, I don't need to fix that bad. So guess what? Here come out. Bow. Gotta go. I don't even block people on my phone. You can call my phone. You got my number. My number has not changed in years. You ain't blocked. You could call, but guess where you going? To the voicemail. I have a family member. Every time they call me, they go to voicemail, and I screen it. I'm gonna call you back. 9 times out of 10, I'm not calling you back. 9 times out of 10, you ain't even getting a text. Because it's stupid. I don't like
energy. It can be draining. It can be draining. I mean, just dealing with other people and their foolishness. And I think the thing is, you can deal with someone and their foolishness, but when you got some foolishness and fuckery going on in your life, it's 9 times out of 10 nobody is around. They're unavailable. They can't help you, and sometimes it's not even like money or helping to move some shit. Just talking. I need to vent, but you can't because you're busy doing God knows what and blah blah blah.
Or I vent to you and you're gonna go tell somebody else.
That
And,
is definitely
add some crap to it.
chop.
And
Definitely.
add some crap.
Definitely. And if someone is confiding in you, they're not confiding in you to give you ammo to use against them. They're fucking talking to you because they thought you were someone they can talk to. But you're either unavailable or you're playing the shit out of them. So, definitely boundaries. Again, would you call it the quick chop? I mean, it's
I let a family member live in my house, right? And they left. And a year later, I found out that as soon as they left, they was telling people that all my husband was doing was beating on me. Yeah. And everybody believed it because they lived in a house with us.
But the thing is, not everybody believed it, because when I heard the story, and I'm not gonna lie, when I heard the story, I said, I'm sorry, that shit don't sound right. And mind you, up until I want to say 5-6 years ago, Talita and I lived apart.
Mhm.
So, and we didn't really communicate as much and do as much as we do now. And I said that to say this. I didn't know a lot about her. However, when this story came upon me, I said, that does not sound right. I do not believe she's going to sit there and let that man beat on her. I think y'all got that story wrong. That story don't sound right. I didn't believe it. So
you beat him. Like,
and that's the crazy part. By the time they came to stay in the house, I wasn't even hitting on him no more. We were
no more.
But I brought that up to say, like, that came about, I believe. I don't know, because like I didn't have a conversation with them to figure out like why you started it, why you telling people this. Like, I didn't even care at that point. Like, I did something nice for you. I let you stay in my house. You paid nothing in my house. You just lived there. You did what you needed to do. We took care of you. And you would talk about him like that. But I believe it came about because of boundaries. Like, he would be the one doing everything for them. And they would call and be like, oh, can he come and do blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, like, this man just worked 13 hours. He's not coming to do nothing for you. Like, no. And I guess they felt like, oh, he didn't want to do something for them. But that's the thing about knowing your people. Like, CJ didn't know me like that. And everybody knew I've always been this way. I was nicer, younger, but as I got older, like, I've always been like this. Like, no, like, we're not doing that. No, he's not doing that. You're not finna use him. No, use me like I'm that person. Like, talk bad about me, do crap to me. Y'all could have said that I was in there sniffing coke, and I wouldn't have been as mad as you saying, blaming some crap on my husband. Don't talk about him, and don't talk about them raggedy kids. Only I can talk about them. Because when you talk about them, now we got a problem. I want to fight. And it was
You talk about people kids.
I do talk about people kids in front of the people.
And if they talk about your babies in front of you, you ready?
And it is what it is. But don't talk about him and them raggedy kids to somebody else.
And I get that, because I'm the same way. A lot of people know when it comes to said husband, your brother, I plays no games.
That's it.
Your other brother, he was like the one I'm married to. He's more of a chihuahua and I'm a pit bull. Like, if there's some foolishness, fuckery going on, I'm calling it out. Like,
I would say he's more like a boa constrictor and you're like a rattlesnake. Because both will kill. It's just one is gonna strike faster than the other.
What's funny is I used to work with this chick or whatever, and we became cool, and we used to hang out or whatever, and she had asked Sean to work on her car. That guy. She asked him to work on her car, change the oil or some foolishness of that nature, and she didn't mention it to me. She didn't say anything. He came to me and he was like, yeah, we are getting ready to go over to said person's house so I can work on her car. And I was like, And then she was shocked that I was there. Like, what? But there was more than one instance that she tried it. And that's where the chop came into play. I stopped messing with her because I see what you're doing and you're offended that I'm seeing it and I'm calling you out on it. That was the wild part. She was offended that I was saying something. I know what it looked like. What are you saying? Don't worry about it. And I stopped, hanging
And
with her.
that's a boundary thing too. Like, I don't feel like you should be, I don't feel like nobody should be, don't call my husband. We're cool. I love you. If it's not a die-hard emergency and you've called me and I have not answered the phone, please don't call my husband.
Yeah.
I don't want no private conversation. Don't call my husband on text. And it's not because I don't trust him, it's because I don't trust other people. And people like to twist it, make stuff more than what it is. Like, my husband has a cousin and his wife. We're super close with them. Super, 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 super close. And I don't call him. Father's Day, I hit her up. Tell cuz I said happy Father's Day. Birthday, tell cuz I said happy birthday. Same thing. She hit me up. Tell cuz I said, I hope you have the happiest birthday. Now, if it's on social media and you put it on a wall, one thing. But I'm a big person. Like, if I mess with you like that, I'll say happy birthday to you on social media, but I'm still going to reach out personally because I have a personal relationship with you and say happy birthday. But I'm not texting him unless it's a die-hard emergency.
Yeah.
The only person husband I'm calling is TJ.
And what's funny is that's why you and I communicate more or whatever. I mean, in the group chat, I'll send something like Happy Father's Day or whatever, but it would be like everybody is there because Sean, the guy, you, your husband. I mean, we're all in that group chat, but for the most part, yes, I'll call you if anything. And I'm the same way with any of my friends and whatnot. I don't.
It's about boundaries. It's about respect. Like,
exactly.
It's like my close friend and her baby father. We're all in a group chat together. He just had a birthday. I went in the group chat. Happy birthday, bro. I love you. Everybody seen it. Ain't no miscommunication. Ain't no what's going on. Ain't no worrying about no scandal, no none of that crap. Because people will twist some stuff up. So you gotta have those kind of boundaries in place.
He looked at me this way. She looked at me that way. Blah blah blah. And this is, I guess, twofold, because first of all, if you know the person you're dealing with, you'll know immediately whether or not something is a lie. Like, I knew you wasn't beating on your husband. I knew that was a lie. You have to know. And like you said, read people. Let me look at the situation. Let me look at your eyes. Let me look at your hands. Let me see if you're fidgeting. Let me look at all of you to really grasp whether or not what you're telling me is true. Because you can be the one I need to cut off, not the person you're bad mouthing. So it just really all depends.
And that's the thing too. You gotta look at all of that when you're dealing with setting your expectations of people and setting your boundaries up. I need to know, like, I don't talk to most of my family. CJ talks to most of my family. I'm not concerned that CJ is telling my family my business. I'm not concerned about that. Because that's an expectation that I have. But I know who she is, so I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about her going out telling people, oh, they doing this and oh, they doing it. I don't care about that.
See, but and
I'm not worried about her bringing it back to me that, oh, this person said this and this person, because she know I don't care.
And that's the thing. That's why I wouldn't tell people about your business, only because I know you don't care. They will 9 times out of 10 use it as freaking gossip, whatever, and you won't have my name in that, because you know how my mother-in-law get down, things get twisted, and it's more. I don't deal with none of that. That's number one. And because I know you really don't communicate with them, I'm not gonna communicate for you to them. That's not for me. Whenever that whatever, then that's what okay, well, but no, because I wouldn't want someone doing that to me. I try to give people what I want, but like I said, I don't expect it.
Right.
but at least I can say I did what I was supposed to do. Hence why I can go ahead
I colored in the lines. Like when we're in kindergarten, they teach us to color in the lines, like learn boundaries. They try to teach us boundaries at that young age. Color in the lines. And that's how I feel. Don't get my coloring book and start scribbling all over the page, acting like a good fool.
using multiple pages.
Just clean across the book. No. Those dark black lines are there so we don't get that gray area twisted. That's why it's a deep black line. And I keep them there. And I don't care. Like most of the relationships that I don't have anymore, I've already grieved them. The relationship has been dead. It's been dead. I killed it. It's buried. I grieved. And now I'm okay with it. And honestly, that's why I felt like this was an important topic, because yes, boundaries are important. Yes, having strong boundaries is good. But also understanding what's going to come with those boundaries, knowing that you're going to grieve, knowing that you're going to feel lonely. You got to be willing to accept that.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to accept it.
Accept that transition.
That's
like
it.
I said, use it to find what makes you happy. Yeah. Because once you find what makes you happy, that will lead you into other people that will be able to add to your happiness, because only you can make you happy, but they can help add to your happiness with the same interests, the same likes, so forth and so on. And so now you're starting to build, I guess, relationships based off of something more than just, I met him through my cousin, or I met her through, a mutual friend.
Or that's my family.
Exactly. There you go.
It's not an excuse. People like, but that's just so-and-so. Okay. Like, I didn't ask you to bring them up.
I've said that, but it's, and I get it, because nobody knows no one's story. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why, certain families getting cut off. There's a reason why, friends get cut off, or associates or whatever. We don't know the story. The only people that know is the people involved, technically. But, boundaries are so important. And
so important. And that's just in personal life. That's in professional life. Like when I get off from work, I don't really talk to nobody out. I talk to 2 people that I used to work with. One of them is on this podcast right now. Right? I don't talk to people that I used to. Like it's crazy, but because when I get off work, I don't want to talk about work.
Yes.
And if you're calling me about drama that happened at work, I want to talk about it. I can't talk to you. We can't be friends. But I learned that by setting professional boundaries up. So boundaries is important in every aspect of your life. I set boundaries with my husband and my kids.
You
Mama,
have to.
No.
You have to.
Them kids know. Mama, can you ask Carter to come get me from work? No, that's not his job. No. You got a job. You get there, you get back. That's none of my business. That's none of his business. Mama, y'all not gonna come get me? No.
And here's what I love. I love when they say, can you ask someone A, B, C, and D? No, what you can do is ask them. Don't put me in the middle. That's my boundary. Don't put me in the middle. Whatever it is you got to say to whomever, you say it to them. Don't put me. I don't want to hear, well, that's your, family, that's your friends, whatever. But if you have the issue, you address that. Don't put me in the middle, because if I don't have that same issue and you're putting me in the middle, you're making it my issue, and that's not fair to me, because I don't want to be a part of it. Yeah. Ask them yourself.
I needed this.
Kids don't have boundaries, so givers have to set boundaries, and that's where the important part comes. Most people who are people pleasers are unconditional givers, and that's where you get taken advantage of, because you're going to give unconditionally, and the takers don't have that same kind of morale, so they're not going to set boundaries. Y'all heard it here in the girls' locker room. Set your boundaries. They are important. Set expectations, and know that grief is going to come from setting those boundaries, and be okay with it. Learn to love you, because only you can make you happy. And we'll catch you. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. And we'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
I got 0 friends.